What if I told you there was an ancient blueprint, a detailed step-by-step instruction manual for actually understanding and transforming your own mind? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. It's a classic text called the Yogacara Bhumi Shastra, and we're going to unpack its core ideas to see what this, science of the mind can teach us right now.
So let's start with the big question, the one this whole text is trying to answer. We all want to change things about our inner world, right? Maybe be a little less anxious, more focused, more compassionate. But how do you actually do it? Not just wish for it, but create a real systematic method for cultivating your own mind. The master behind this text, Maitreya Bodhisattva, gave a surprisingly structured answer. This wasn't about vague advice or just, feeling positive. Nope, he laid out a complete system of 16 distinct, interlocking methods for practice. It's basically a full curriculum for the mind.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get an overview of this blueprint. Then, we'll dig into the 2 core paths it describes. After that, we'll peek inside the toolkit at some specific techniques. Then we'll get to the big why, the root of suffering it's all designed to tackle. And finally, we'll see where this whole journey leads.
All right, let's dive into the framework. I want to be clear. This is not just a random collection of helpful tips. What the text lays out is a truly comprehensive map, a science of the mind designed for deep, lasting inner transformation. And right away, you get a sense of just how huge this system is. This slide just lists a few of the 16 types. You can see they cover everything from the most fundamental why of your practice. That's what those first 2 are about, to the very specific hows. We're talking techniques for working with mental images, for achieving profound meditation, even for understanding the ultimate nature of reality itself. It's a complete package. So, with all these options, where do you even begin? Well, the text says the entire journey starts with one fundamental choice. It's a fork in the road, and it's defined not by what you're doing, but by why you're doing it. It all comes down to your core intention. And that brings us to this absolutely crucial concept, mental application, or sakui. You can think of it as the conscious aim of your mind, the lens through which you see and do everything. It's both the engine and the steering wheel for your entire spiritual path. And this slide really breaks down that core distinction. On the one hand, you have the path that's focused on your own liberation from suffering. That's the Shravakayana path. But on the other hand, you've got the Mahayana path, which just blows that motivation wide open to include everyone. The goal isn't just to end your suffering, it's to end the suffering of all beings. That is a massive shift in scope. And the source text is so clear about this. It doesn't just say this is a nice idea. It says the Mahayana path is energized, it's driven by, quote, the power of great compassion. It's not passive, it's an active, powerful force pushing you forward. So once you've set your core motivation, what do you actually do? Well, this is where the system gives you this amazing, sophisticated toolkit of methods. These are the specific techniques for actually refining your mind, and you can use them no matter which of the 2 paths you're on. So let's check out a few of these tools. You got antidote practice, which is for dealing with a specific problem right in the moment, like when you feel anger bubbling up. Then there's something deeper called elimination practice, which the text beautifully describes as using a wedge to remove a wedge. It's for uprooting those really stubborn, deep-seated obstacles. And then you have accomplishment practice, which is all about mastering and locking in these incredibly profound states of meditation. Okay, but why? Why go through all this trouble? Why do we need such a detailed, complex system? The text answers this with absolute, laser-like precision. It says this entire system is designed to solve the single, fundamental problem at the very root of the human condition. And according to this text, the one and only target for all 16 of these practices is craving. The original character is I. It's that relentless thirst, that constant nagging feeling of, if only I had this, then I'd finally be happy. The text says that is the single root of all our dissatisfaction. And this isn't just some vague philosophical concept. The text gets incredibly specific. It actually states that this one thing, craving, is the direct cause of 15 distinct types of harm to our minds. 15! And here are just a few of those harms, pulled right from the text. Craving makes our worst habits stronger. It literally blocks our best qualities from showing up. But just look at those last 2, because this is where it gets really sneaky. Craving can tragically make us afraid of the very freedom we're looking for, while tricking us into thinking there's pleasure in the very cycle of suffering we're trying to escape. Wild, right? So when you put all these pieces together, the core motivation, this amazing toolkit of techniques, and the ultimate target of craving, what are we really looking at? What does this ancient system represent? What we have here is not just a bunch of random exercises. These 16 practices form a systematic, you could even say scientific approach to inner freedom. It's a kind of technology for understanding the mechanics of our own suffering and then, piece by piece, carefully dismantling it until we arrive at a state of genuine, lasting well-being. And so this ancient blueprint leaves us with a very personal and very modern question. The text puts so much weight on that first conscious choice, that mental application. So it's only fair that we ask ourselves, what is the mental application that's driving my life? Is my focus narrow or is it wide? And maybe most importantly, where is it taking me?